Hello and welcome to the Funnyfarm pod. And today's episode is a guest episode. We got Chris here. He's in the middle. I'm going to swap him around in a minute because I don't like him being in the middle. And we've also got Debs. Debs, what's your surname? Sorry,
Debbie Holt.
Debbie Holt. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, please, Debbie?
That's straight in, right?
Yeah, go on.
No lube, straight in.
Apparently,
Straight in. Right, well, I'm a friend of Chris's. I met him on the comedy circuit. I do stand up. I'm too old to. Well, I'm old enough to know better. Let's put it like that. And I'm too old for a midlife crisis.
You're never too old for a midlife crisis.
I am. If this were midlife, I'd have to live to be 126. Bubble.
That's part of Debbie's set, that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice. Okay. Do you do anything apart from comedy? Have you got like a part-time or a full-time?
A proper job. I'm a retired nurse. I was a nurse for nearly 40 years, and now I'm a stop smoking advisor. And I do that.
You want to have a word with Chris?
Yeah, I have a word with Chris all the time.
You have a word with Charlie as well. Charlie comes on here like giving it the big one, and then he has a pint and he's 20 bucks.
No, I've got a 20 bucks at all.
Anyway,
I have a pint. I've got to have about. Well, we talk about our levels on drinking. 6 or 7 is not really enough. But you start getting up to about 8 or 9, I might have one. Yeah.
So me and Debbie met on the comedy scene about 18 months ago.
At my first gig.
My first. So you're pretty new to it.
I don't think we actually met on your first gig, did we? Because that was at the Canal House.
It was, and at the second gig, you said to me, "I saw you at the Canal House," and he was just nice. And it's like when you first start and you're so nervous, and if anybody's kind to you, you think that's my friend.
So unfortunately, you've landed with me, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, and he's my backup, and I promote a few gigs, and I always shout Chris.
Yeah.
You know, he opens, he advises, and it's going reasonably well. But I prefer standing up than promoting.
Was that one of Chris's your events that Chris got heckled?
He always gets heckled.
We got the mic.
Oh, that was
Oh yeah. That was a charity night, weren't it? I weren't bothered because they took it off him and just praised me.
There's certain things in comedy that just it was a charity night, so it was cool. But this dippy fucking orange woman. I hope she watches this.
She's a really good friend of mine. Hi.
It's not Trump's wife, is it?
She took offence to that because I said, "Are you Donald Trump's daughter? Because you're orange." She was nice. She was all right. And to be fair, she was just a bit drunk. And the thing with comedy is that you've the ideal comedy night is when they've been to comedy before. Almost, it's like if they know what they're coming for, so they know that they need. Because it's not like being in a band. They've got to listen to your jokes, you know. There's some people who just go out there and do ranty kind of comedy, which is probably a bit better for that kind of thing. But if you tell stories and situational stuff like me and Deb do, they've got to kind of listen to the story. Otherwise, they're just never going to get the punchline. And that night, it was I went on after the raffle, didn't I?
A massive raffle. Massive.
There was 3 acts, all did 10 minutes each. And Deb went on and did a raffle, and then she went, "Oh, hang on a minute, I can't be arsed with a break. We'll just bring Chris on." So I literally followed a raffle, and I think I did about 18 minutes, and it took me 5 minutes to get them listening to me, didn't it? It was mad. It was crazy.
Yeah, but it was good. But and they've booked me again. They've booked me not for a charity night. They've actually booked me, and it's a working men's club. So it's like it's got the potential of being like the Wheel Tappers and Shunters, hasn't it?
You've got what you've got is like a really niche kind of set of gigs, I think, in that area because they're a bit different to they're not like Spiky Mike gigs, are they? Where it's not, if you go to a Spiky Mike gig, they're all there. They're up for laughing. They're comedy savvy, they know what they're there for, Whereas Deb's gigs are a little bit more like they might be there for a comedy, they might be there for a pint, but they tend to be quite up for it. And you have got that Black Market venue one.
Oh, I love
Brilliant
that.
gig.
I love
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, I
And
love
if we
that
can
one.
get that to,
It needs to. It needs to grow. Yeah, it needs to
get that to
grow.
grow and get
It
it in
need,
that back room, you could get
it'd be
some big
perfect.
acts there. I think if they can spark up the budget for you. But that little room's fine. That little room's fine. The Ladybrook one.
But then we've got the rough pub. We've got
Yeah,
Ladybrook.
but I enjoyed that gig. I enjoyed that gig.
Yeah,
Where's
but
that?
you know, and
Where's that?
Mansfield. But it's
Been there?
I mean, they're actually in there. They actually stay in the room for comedy. You know, the landlady's happy because they're taking bar takings. Oh God, but they're
That
rowdy.
what there was,
They're really,
I
really
thought.
rowdy.
Everybody apart from one woman was okay when I thought it was a perfectly good gig. There's just that one woman, and she was okay, to be fair. You know, she kind of I had a bit of
Mm.
banter with her. She loved Callum because
Oh,
he did some crowd work early on, and there was four lads at the back, and he called them everything from an F to a Jeff, didn't he? And they
yeah.
liked that there, so it was very much like they liked the crowd work element of stuff. And when it's a rowdy gig like that, I think you've got to do a bit of that. And I went on and closed it. I think I did 20 odd minutes, didn't I?
Yeah, you
And it was
did.
lovely. It was great. But no, you run a good gig, and you're a very new promoter, so it's a case of
Yeah.
doing it. And I mean, there's like this is probably a contentious point, but like a lot of promoters out there and pro acts are kind of cursing the new promoters coming on and putting these nights on Fridays and Saturday nights, because generally that's a night when you need to have proper professional headliners and stuff like that to do these things. But I managed all right closing, and they booked me.
Yeah. And I think I mean, I like it being at the weekend because I have got all the non-pros are not working at weekend. So I have my choice of
Yeah,
everybody. Because when you start off, you're doing all midweek gigs. That's the way it is. So if I get a weekend one, I can pick and
yeah,
choose.
yeah,
So it's nice, and it's a nice opportunity, and it's a
yeah,
paid gig, which at their level, at our level, and the people who are newer than us, to get paid
yeah.
anything,
There's a few of
it's
you
like
about
thank you.
like at the moment that I think the gigs I book tend to be a bit more. I've got one which is a pro night, which you're doing the middle for. On there's who else in it? Ravi, you and Ravi are doing the middle for me at
Yeah,
Allsworth, and then we do the Pinkston one where we have 4 10-minute acts, and then we book a closer on a Thursday night. It's not a massively well paid closing spot, but it's good
no,
for,
but I've done that one as well,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
good
great.
good for
It's
locals.
great.
And then you've got like the likes of yourself, James Hasham, Jake Brooks, is it Adam? I can't remember his surname. Who does the Wickersley one and the Dinnington one?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
what you're kind of doing is opening it up for people to come and have a go, to come and you tend to book people who've got good strong 10-minute sets. You don't book like people who are
mhm,
totally new. But then there's been a couple where you put like a 5-minute Liam on at that was a good gig. I really enjoyed that gig. Everyone else struggled, and you
mhm.
came to me, didn't you?
Oh,
You said, can you do a bit,
the
yeah,
roads of
can you do a
crime,
bit longer?
the roads of crime.
Because
Mhm.
everyone had cut
Yeah,
the set short, because that was rowdy. That was like people
yeah,
going
it
to the
was.
bar in the middle of the thing, and then there was like a group at the bottom, weren't they? I don't know if they were playing cards or dominoes, but they,
Oh,
they were basically.
yeah,
But they all, when I
yeah.
went on, I don't know, I just got them hooked straight away, and I did 30 odd minutes, and then all the guys from the back who were loud and rowdy came up and watched. It was brilliant. Have they rebooked you?
No, they haven't. And yet that were the best Friday night they've had in
Have you
years.
chased them, or have they
Sorry.
just
No, I haven't chased them.
not bothered?
No, I haven't chased them. I don't. I'd rather gig than
Yeah, so
promote.
would I. So would I. I've got
you
me
know?
my little few where um, I've got my little few with Fran that I don't mind doing because it's like me and him have been mates for 15 years, and it's nice to do them. Just give it like I won't go on because this is about you. But why do you prefer stand up? Just going and doing your set rather than promoting?
Because it's more controlled, and I don't have to worry about it, and I just literally turn up, do my thing, and that's it. I don't worry about it. I'm not concerned. I'm not, is this going to happen? Are they going to turn up? People cancel on me. You know, it's all this kind of stuff. So no, it's less worry.
I did a gig years ago, and I can't even remember which one it was. I organised a gig, and on the day, I think it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, I had to replace the whole lineup. I hate promoting. I'll do it with Fran.
Yeah, I mean, I don't advertise. A lot of people don't know that I promote because I don't even advertise. At the moment, I'm just calling in favours. You know, people I know, people I've met, I'm using them because I know what they do. So as we go forward, I will open it up. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I enjoy it. I love doing it. If I could, I'd do it a lot. I stick to. There's a joke. My husband's not very supportive. I did one gig, and it was supposed to be a tick the box, you know, a bucket list thing, and it gets you. It gets you. I did my first gig in a proper like comedy club in Nottingham, the Canal House. People hugged me when I came off stage.
You're brilliant.
I couldn't
You're
believe
really
it.
good.
But it was fine. But I was so frightened, and you do your 5 minutes, and it was like I couldn't even speak to any audience. I just did my 5 minutes, you know, like this. But I got such a buzz off it. Now my husband,
That's a gig.
yeah, but my husband thought he thought I'd just do one.
Yeah.
Right.
He thought I'd do one, and that'd be it. And I love doing this. I just
does
love
put
it.
a bit of pressure on relationships. I think there's a lot of comedians that I've spoken to who are on the second and third marriage, and like my missus has been so supportive of me. She comes to a lot of gigs. She has over the last 15 years. I've been doing it on and off. She's always been dead supportive. And I say to her, you don't have to come. You know what I mean? You don't have to come. I mean, my set's different every time I do it. I always do different stuff. Like I've not got a set thing. But I mean, you'll always get the same kind of stuff. But and she's seen it loads, but she's seen how it's developed. You know, she's seen how that swinging joke was totally raw, and it was a lot different 13, 14 years ago when I did it. And then I've developed that, and it's changed into a different bit now. And you know, it plays to a better audience now. You know, I did Manchester Comedy Club at the weekend. That was great. Get on that if you can. Mandy McCarthy, she's lovely as well. Brilliant MC. It's a nice gig. It's in a gay club in Manchester, which does open as a sex club a couple of times a month or something.
I'm never in there.
Charlie's been. It's just a great, like they've turned it into a comedy club though. You know, you've got your stage, and I'm not saying it's a straight audience but it's predominantly it's mixed. It's not just the people who go in that club. And it played there, and I've done Spiky. I did the Blessington Carriage now, and I can do that gig. Whereas back in the day, I was a bit too raw for that. They didn't like me there, and it took me 3 or 4 attempts. My first gig was at the Bless doing a gong back in 2009, 2010, and I bombed, but I got the bug. I did 2 minutes. It was crap material. I was doing stuff about bloody Jordan's tits and David Beckham. It was awful material. But a load of my uni mates came along to watch me. I got the bug, did a course, and the rest is kind of history. But there's a lot to be said for just turning up and doing the gig and not having all that logistical nightmare of getting the audience in, getting it advertised right, and all that stuff. I mean, that's what I want to do. That's what I just want to be a gig.
Yeah, but it's like you know, I've met so many people. I mean, we do, don't we? We meet loads of people, and the majority are nice. There's only a minority, and it is a minority, just like the regular population. But the amount of people, you know, who suffer mental health in comedy, you know, and it's kind of, I think at my time of life, it were a good time. You know, you think to yourself, I wish I'd done this years ago. I weren't ready to do this years ago. I'm thicker skinned now. Obviously, things bother me. I'm human, but I don't take things to heart.
I love it when you say that at my time of life, because like I see you as one of the most vibrant people on the scene. Do you know what I mean? You don't give off anything other than just being dead energetic, loving it. Age is just a number, isn't it? And it's like,
I've always been immature.
yeah, I love it, and
You know,
I have, and I always will be. Yeah,
I don't want to grow.
I mean, I think, like, you know, you say, you know, it wasn't my formula. And I think you subconsciously do things when it's
Yeah.
right for you.
Yeah.
And I think, you just have to wait for that process to go through. But I don't think, that's why I never regret anything, because I think I've done it. I wanted to do it. Obviously, I wanted to do it, and
Yeah.
it's just whenever it's right for you.
No, and you're right, and I agree there. I mean, my biggest fear is not failing. My biggest fear is failing to try. I don't want to be a what-ifer. I don't want to be sat there saying, I wish I'd done this and what if I'd done that. I don't want to be like that. I want to have had a go,
Yeah.
and at least I've tried. And
Yeah.
and that's me entire life, adult life. I've always been one of these who just wings it. Oh, come on, let's do it. Let's just do it. And because I've been like that, we lived in America for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I took him on holiday. I took him and 2 babies on holiday and stitched him up and got
you were on
jobs.
the radio out there, weren't you?
Because, yes, on WPDH, the home of classic rock and roll.
Whereabouts in America?
We were in New York, but we finished up living 80 miles north of Manhattan, a place called Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
Oh, wow.
Poughkeepsie. And they only have me on the road. Sorry?
Doesn't Ross on Friends, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, Ali McBeal. Ali McBeal kept trying to say Poughkeepsie. Yeah. There's a famous scene where she's in the bathroom saying Poughkeepsie because somebody from the office. Somebody came to the office who were trying, and she couldn't say it. But yeah,
I think there's there's an episode of Friends where obviously Ross lives in Manhattan. Well, they all live in not Manhattan, New York, and he's dating somebody from Poughkeepsie, and he has to keep getting the train out there and back, and it's miles on the train, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, 80 miles. Yeah, and it's a commuter, and it's crazy as it sounds. It's 80 miles out of Manhattan, but it's a commuter town. They get the train down every morning and every night. It's madness. Yeah, crazy. So we lived out there for 10 years, and
when was that?
And
when was that?
The 90s. All of the 90s. So when I do quizzes, I am very bright, by the way. I just want you to know that. But I know nothing about UK 1990s. I missed out all the Oasis and Take That and all that kind of stuff. I missed the entire Britpop thing, the entire lot.
I love the 90s.
Why did you come back?
Mark had a heart attack.
Right.
At 44, and my Mark's a little round guy, like it's a round thing, we're comfy, and he wasn't like that. He wasn't. He was slim, and it's just a genetic fault. Yeah. Every man in his family has heart disease, and he's lived longer than any man in his family.
He's a great guy, Mark.
They all die in the 40s and 50s. He had an uncle who died at 38. All his cousins have got heart disease. It's just a genetic fault. Yeah. So he had a bypass 2017, and he's been great since.
Yeah. Well, he ain't going nowhere, is he, when he's got you?
Yeah.
I won't be going anywhere.
Well, we've got... He can't go anywhere. I need him for 20 years. We've got custody of our grandson who's 7. So I've got to another 15 years, definitely. I can't be leaving that little bugger,
He's a wonderful guy. I always look at him and think he's a little Billy Connolly.
Nice. I mean, he is so funny, and he doesn't know he's funny. He's like, but he's very ranty. because he's 70 in September. 70.
Wow.
And I always said to him every birthday, I've never slept with anybody as old as you. And then he says to me, well, I've never slept with anybody as old as you. And I think, oh,
It's
yeah,
the truth,
right.
isn't it? It is the truth, and you can say that, I suppose. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But
Yeah. So we came back from the States because we had private medicine. But the first thing he had done was stents, and they cost $74,000 in the 1990s. $74,000, and your insurance at that time was $1 million cut off.
yeah,
And you're going to get to that million. And we've come back, and he spent all them years in and out of hospital.
yeah.
So we came back in 2000. He didn't have his bypass till 2017.
No.
For 17 years, he were on first name terms with the cardiac crew at Glenfield.
Wow.
He'd come in, he'd say, because stents worked really well for him. So they'd just stent him. He'd sit at home for 2 days, then he'd be back at work. He never stopped working. He always worked. And he'd come in and he'd say, it's starting again. And I'd literally ring Professor Gershlich's secretary and say, Mark's starting again. And she said, bring him down. And that was the NHS working.
Yeah.
And they'd have him in, they'd run a couple of tests, keep him in a couple of days, he'd be back home and he'd be fine. And they did that until it got that bad that they were talking about palliative care.
Wow.
They said he was so full of stents that they couldn't do anything else. All his arteries were full of stents. And then they brought some whiz kid over from Italy and they bypassed him. Usually when they bypassed, it's like a loop, like that. So wherever your blockage is, they loop it. Because he was full, they had to go from top to bottom.
God.
You know, so it's looped like that. And this whiz kid from Italy did it.
Thank God for him.
And he's been great
Thank
since.
God for him.
Yeah, he's been great since. That's it.
And he likes his Guinness, doesn't he?
Oh God, Guinness and Jameson's because he's diabetic. Yeah. When he had the bypass, they said, "Oh, you're borderline diabetic." So rather than put risk on the heart, they put him on medication. Whereas with me or you, they'd say, change your diet, do this, do that. But they didn't with him. They put him on it. So as soon as you get on it, unless you lose drastic amounts of weight, you stay on it. And your body gets used to it.
Me and Charlie are both on diet.
We're both on metformin.
Type 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You had to work at that, didn't you?
I use that on stage, yeah. Cake.
I'm doing all these callbacks. I'm just pitching his act, honestly.
Pitch my act. Yours is much better.
No. But, so now, I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, the type 2 thing. But he's done tests. He tested his sugar and he's tried all different alcohol. And Guinness and Jameson's are the two things that lower his blood sugar.
I'm having some of that then.
Oh, that's interesting. I found with Guinness, it was full of calories. It just throws it all around me waist.
If you test your sugar first thing in the morning, it'll bottom out. Right. And so he thinks he's solved. It's like world peace. It's the best thing ever.
I don't need this metformin. I'll just have 10 pints of Guinness a night.
And a couple of Jamesons,
yeah. Well, you got to get some.
Yeah, I like the Jamesons. I've got to say. That's what I'll leave that out for Santa.
But we used to get bad on Jamesons. I remember I was at the local pub, and the landlord was a Scot, but we used to sit there and we'd have a few pints, and every round there'd be 3 or 4 of us, and we'd have a Jameson's chaser every now and then. And this one night we had, like the pub, we had to go over to the shop and buy another bottle of Jameson's. We'd drunk that much of it. That was a period of time where Jane was not happy with me.
Well, we went to Dublin for one of his birthdays. We went to Dublin and I booked the Jameson tour. Now I like the way whiskey looks, and I can say the same for Guinness, but I can't drink it. I can't drink it. I don't like it with lemonade. I don't like it with anything. I just don't. It's awful. So we did the Jameson's tour. So obviously he drunk all mine. And then we went to a whiskey tasting, so they got like 6 or 8 whiskies, and they were telling them, look at the legs, all this business. So we drunk all mine. We did the Guinness tour. I did a private tour, so we went in the back room. You tasted Guinness from all around the world, so we drunk all mine. It was just hammered. They were just hammered, and we came out of the Guinness Brewery. He staggered out, and I thought, oh. And I said to the guy, I called a taxi, and I said, take me to the oldest pub in Dublin. We got in this taxi, and it was literally round the corner and charged me €15.
What a bastard!
Yeah, but he serves us right. He were hammered, he's like that, and I thought, I've got to feed him. He's got to eat something. But yeah, I mean, I like a drink. I've kind of grown out.
What's your tipple, Debs?
I'm a Lagerlow.
Wow.
I'm a Lagerlow. And I like spice rum.
My missus loves that. Kraken. She loves Kraken.
No, I like Lambs. Lambs is the nicest for me. Lambs spice rum.
She's never tried that one. We'll have to get her on that, Debs.
Oh, it's kind of smooth and it's nice. But I'll have a bottle, and we've got a nice drink. Pardon?
Is it Morgan spice rum?
There is Morgan spice rum. I like that as well. Yeah, and I have a bottle, and it's in the drinks cabinet, and it's rare, and I'll think, oh, I just fancy one, and he's drunk it, because when he's drunk his Jameson's, he'll drink my spice rum. He'll drink anything, anything.
We're a bit like that, aren't we? Yeah.
I remember once I got him from the pub years and years ago. It was around Christmas, and I drank my mum's Baileys for the Christmas. I'd got nothing else. I used to nick a cigarettes. I used to the worst one for me was like my mum always made a Christmas cake and that, and she'd got brandy in for the Christmas cake, and I came in and drank fucking all of her brandy. And when she came to make she kicked off. Did she kick off at me? It was unreal. Anyway, let's move back to comedy a little bit, Deb. Charlie, you look like you keep trying to jump. Charlie, just jump in, mate.
No, I was just about to say, because I've listened to you go on and on and off on about comedy for months and months and months, haven't I? But I've just, I've been taking it all in and absorbing it. Chris wants me to go and do the set. I mean, you know what, that thing where you're saying, we should bucket list. It doesn't really do anything for me, to be honest with you. I might do it for the pod to see if we can get some more followers. Fucking thing. But but no, I think it's like, what I've been taking in, it's like a real art form. You're talking about the promotion side of it. You're talking about the performance side of it. You're talking about the crowd work. You're having to deal with hecklers. It sounds like a real art form where, with me, I just think, you got a few jokes, because I've got some cracking jokes, haven't I, Chris? And you just sort of get up and, do 5 minutes and off you go. But it's not that at all, is it? That's what people perceive it to be, but it's not like that.
No, the hardest bit is.
I think.
Go on. Sorry, Debs.
I was just going to say the first gig is like that. The first gig, it's all about having, just having the nerve to do it. That's what it is. It's just to step out, and you've got this 5 minutes, that I can recite, and I'm saying it in my sleep, and that's what it is. And then you learn. And I video a lot of gigs. I don't do as many now, but I video a lot of gigs, and you go back and you critique and you rip it apart and you turn it around. Yeah. And why didn't that work? And why don't that work? And yeah, it becomes like that. Yeah. It does.
But there's a lot of work that goes into that, isn't there? There's a lot of craftsmanship. You know what I mean? It's not just going up and telling a few jokes, because you're trying to build on that, week in, week out, or whenever you're doing your gigs, and expand on it as well, aren't you?
Yeah, and adding things all the time, aren't we? Adding constantly, changing, adding. Yeah. It's like when you start off, there's this bit that you think's really, really funny, and it gets a laugh. But then I don't even use that, because that's done, and I've gone to this bit now. It's.
I think one of the biggest mistakes that new comedians make is that they get rid of stuff too quickly. So the funny thing about this job is that it's the only job I can think of where you learn how to do your job while doing the job. So, it's like if you were a surgeon, right, they wouldn't give you a knife and go, right, do this bypass surgery on Mark. You'd be trained, you'd get, and you'd have seen thousands of times it's done. I mean, obviously, that's one of the things I would advise any new comedian to do: see as many gigs as you possibly can. You can write 3-5 minutes to start with. I'd say 3 to 5 minutes is like if you go and get a 5-minute spot and you only do 3, no one's going to shout at you for that.
Mm.
You can get 3 minutes, you can have played it to your dog, your wife, your kids, and they've all thought that's really good. You go in front of a crowd of people and they can just think that's dog shit. And the only way you know if you're doing your job right is by audience reaction. And like you can do a little bit of material and it go completely wrong. And what a lot of new comedians will do is they'll go, right, that's shit, I'm binning that. I'd try it 2 or 3 times in front of different audiences and use the audience's reaction to ad lib on that and add bits to it, but rework it. There's going to be bits that you'll never ever do again.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it. And I try to add something new at every gig, and it might only be a sentence, but I try to do that. I try to keep putting it in, because if I've got pretty solid stuff and I just slot something in the middle that dies, it's fine, because I'll pick it straight back up again, and then I'll know whether it works or whether it might work. Or so just keep adding little bits. I mean, we're restricted. We get booked for 10-minute gigs. You know, we get booked when we're in the middle. It's 10 minutes. You know, you can do 9, you can do 11, 12, but you can't go off and do it.
You just mentioned there that
I
you
mean,
might add a sentence into a joke. It might get a laugh, it might not get a laugh. But if you play with that sentence and say it in a different way, it roofs. So you've got it's not just about what you're saying in that moment. It's how you say it. What's the end of the joke? What's the rhythm of the joke? So it's like it is. You cracked it on the head when you said it's a bit of an art form. And there's some people. I mean, I'll never be amazing at it, but there's like some people out there who've just got, like Scott Bennett, who've just got that rhythm, that beat where it hardly ever fails. Do you know what I mean? So and I mean, both me and Debs have studied Adam Bloom's book, which is a great book. If you I think it's more advanced. I don't think it's massively beginner based, but he does reference that in the book. He's like, this is probably not for beginners. But if you were thinking of it, or anyone out there is thinking of doing comedy, they've got a bit of a bug for it. If you've thought about it, you probably should do it, because it, like Deb says, it's a bucket list thing. And just start off with stuff that is around you. So start off thinking about stuff that is you're passionate about, things that you don't like, things that you do like, things that you love, things that you hate, all that kind of stuff. Think about stuff that you already know. Don't reinvent the wheel. You know, if you're not political, don't go out there and start reading the news and try to be a political comedian. Do what you know. Don't think I'm going to have to learn how to play a guitar because I want to be a musical comedian. Use what you know right now, because the stuff that happens in your everyday life is the funniest stuff that you'll ever know. Mine's all situational. You do have your one-liner comedians and you have your dark comedians. And they're all great. A lot of them are great, but that'd be if you were to say, I want to write my first stand-up 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, I'd say, look at the things around you, rant about them, record it, and then go back and go, right, okay, that's funny. I can use that.
Yeah. Well, what about the situation of having to wear that shirt?
Yeah.
And
but it's true, isn't it?
I was just about to say, you know, if I was to do like a 5-minute set, it would probably be on the pod. And the comments we get, I got called a baby eater the other day by an American, where baby eaters were being ruled by Muslims. So, you know, I just sort of like, you know, set up the screen and get all these comments on and just take the piss out of the comments that we're getting. You know, I suppose there's little things you can do like that. But yeah, wearing the shirt is like, it's been a nightmare. I'm doing something.
I could reel off all the stuff that you could write down and you could do, mate. You obviously your wife, but be careful around that, because it's, you know, it's quite. There's a lot of hacky stuff. You've got to make it very new and original about your wife or your husband, because everyone does that. Obviously, everyone's like kind of in that. Your kids and the stuff that they do. You know, we've talked about rugby, football. There's going to be funny stuff there. You're driving along your country lanes and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's just so much. Our work history together has been funny. You know, there's just so many things that you can you can do. I did an exercise the other night, right, and I'm going to write some new material. So I've got a massive whiteboard, and it's absolutely huge, and it looks like that beautiful Mind film, where he writes everything all over the walls and everything. And I've just got loads of little random words all over the place. But the funny, are you all right, Debs?
I'm putting the change in. I'm all right. So,
Just giving us a view of all sex toys.
I
seen the rabbit and the black mamba on the bed there.
So yeah, that's my take on it. What's your Debs? What best gig, worst gig so far?
So far, let's have a think. Worst gig. Sorry, with the Yorkshireman.
Aye.
Yorkshireman. Just like borderline dangerous. It were awful.
Dangerous.
Sorry?
Did you see me lampshade before?
I don't know. It'd be all right though.
Yeah.
Did you? Is it all right?
You can see, yeah, fine.
That was pretty bad. But it was bad because it was scary and there were no audience and it were really all aggressive and and everybody said the same thing that I like the promoter, I like the guy, but the whole gig were awful. Best gigs. Do you know what? I probably Spiky Mike's gigs. And because his audience have come for comedy, they pay proper money. They're seeing a top headliner, and then with a couple of tens in the middle or whatever. And I've always done really well. Gongs and what have you, I'm not doing them anymore. I'm not even going to do competitions anymore. I don't know what it is. I just can't pull it. I can't. I think because now I've got my thing, I'm not sharp enough in that 10 minutes. I don't know what it is. When I first started, I did a lot better.
You have to have.
Well, it's 5 minutes, isn't it? We're 5 minutes for the new comedian, and I didn't even get through my heat.
You have to have different sets, and this is hard. I've been doing like loads of 15, 20, 25-minute bits, and then you go to do the new. I'm in the comedian of the year for the Ram, and I had to drop it down to 7, and I did the same material 2 nights previous. One was 11 minutes, one was 12 minutes. So I literally had to drop 5 minutes from the bit I was doing. So I had to drop loads out. Luckily, it really worked well, and I got through. But you have to have a 5 minute, a 7 minute. I was talking to Ricky Balshaw the other day, and he said that he had to do a 3 minute for one of the BBC competitions. So you got to do 3 minutes.
I did 2 minutes. I did 2 minutes for that Spirit of Comedy, that Ricky Gervais thing. 2 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be my opening gag.
And that were awful. And I mean, that just broke me. That's the one thing that really got to me. That were awful.
Did you say that was a Ricky Gervais?
Yeah, it was the vodka that he makes was sponsoring to be his support act. It were all over the country. And you went down and you did 2 minutes, and it were horrible. We all hated
Who got
it.
through your round?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. Local Birmingham lads.
When people are putting a name to these things, they should look into it a little bit more, because he's a comedian, isn't he? He should know the 2 minutes is not sure.
No, the fact of the matter is, mate, it's the standard. It's short sets for that. I mean, I think 2 minutes is too short. They do that 3 minute one at Hot Water now, which is, I think that's like a gong. It's so that they can get to see new acts. That's the thing. They want to see new acts. But I would say that, like, I never minded particularly doing Spikey's gongs. I mean, I always got through the 5 minutes pretty much, give or take. Like, I've had a few gong-ins, and my first ever gig was a gong. But they're nice. His crowds are nice. They are. It's completely different. So I like the weekend club stuff. I've done Just the Tonic. I've done Manchester Comedy Club. Did a middle for Glee, just to try out. Whether or not I
Yeah.
get rebooked, I don't know, but hopefully, that's where I'm trying to be. But Mike's gigs are completely different to that. They tend to be in more middle class, shall we say, and
Yeah.
he runs a good gig. They, like you say, they.
And he does. I did go up to Bolton a couple of weeks ago on a pro lineup. It was a 20-minute pro, and it's the first one I've done. I kind of blagged it.
Fake it till you make
I
it, girl.
did. That's it. And it was marvellous. It was marvellous. They just
Yeah.
got me. They just got me. That northern,
You
it was
sound like you're from Bolton, actually.
Rochdale.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, just next town over, isn't it? It's not
She
far at
was
all.
trafficked to
No.
America.
I was
The
over in
traffic.
I was in Rochdale
Oh,
at the weekend, actually, and they had a great time in Rochdale at the weekend. A rugby
oh, give
tournament.
over.
But that's what you sound like you're from up there. Anyway, I wouldn't have thought you were from Nottingham. That's why I asked before.
No, they can still understand me down here, though. Do you have problems?
I understand you completely.
Well, what type of problem are you talking about?
He's a fucking nightmare. When I don't know if he's over there on the recording. He is on my screen. But yeah, it's like literally, like when we're clipping up and stuff, and I'm putting the subtitles on. It's like unbelievable. He says some stuff, and I understand exactly what he's saying, but it comes out with some right weird stuff. I'm trying to think of an example, but there was some the other day I had to change. It was like crazy. It got, what was the word? Wrexham. And it like came up with Wrexham on a couple of them, but then it was like Rorke's Drift or something. It came up with. It was absolutely mental. Do you know what I mean? And the other day when we had Joe on, oh bloody hell, the two of you together. I've not missed clipping up your twos, because I don't know whether Joe speaks too quick or what, but it very rarely. There's an odd occasion where it does the subtitles incorrectly for me, but it's like 1 in 10. Do you know what I mean? Whereas him and Joe, you can guarantee if it's a clip, I've got to go in and edit the subtitles because it says something different. I have to go in and edit Charlie's quite a bit because he swears more than me.
I haven't sworn very much
No,
today.
got a lady.
No, we have
Got a
spawned. I
lady
don't
on
think
the phone.
Yeah,
lady on, yeah.
that's
Lady on.
times, I think.
Like Lady and the Tramps, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Lady in the eggs, more like.
I've got on my screen. I've got a rose between two thorns, Dev.
Oh, yeah.
I have as well. I always stick my guest in the middle.
So it's good, yeah. Comedy's good. So where are you? Where's your head at now? What's your kind of? We'll try and wrap up soon. But what's the ambition for you? What's your like? The bucket list was to do a gig. 18 months in, you're doing 20s on pro bills. What's your aim for comedy?
To choose my gigs, which I do now. I choose, because when you first start, you take everything and anything. Choose, and if I'm traveling for a reason. I'm traveling because it's a good gig. I want to do it. I'm kind of. I need to get my fuel money. I'm not talking about big headliner money, but I need to be getting something rather than just a bucket split. And one of my gigs is a bucket split. I don't want it to be, but at the moment it is. And I just think that I just need to make a bit of money to put some money back in the pot. That's basically it. And it's not all about the money, and it's not. And I'll still do gigs that I want to do, and I'll still do things but I'm not just grabbing at anything. That's the point. And I'd like to just do quality over quantity. I did nearly 100 gigs my first year. I were everywhere. It's definitely eased off.
The only thing I would say in response to that slightly, I mean, and at the end of the day, everybody's got situations that they're in, and you can't work outside of that. So whether it be logistical, familial, or financial, whatever it may well be, the difference that you saw from gig 1 to gig 100 will be massive in that first year. If you only do 50 in year 2, then that won't go up as much. So I think it was John Pearson who said to me that you need to be gigging really, if you want to improve and get into the clubs and all that stuff, you need to be gigging 3 or 4
Yeah,
times a week. But Sarah,
yeah.
Sarah,
I mean, at the
Sarah
moment,
Milliken said it, and she said if
mm,
you do 1 or 2 gigs a week, you'll stay the same. So you've got to do
mm.
that because you don't want to drop. But then if you want to get,
And I hear that, and I hear that, but I don't think I'm going to get to pro level, and I'm not putting myself down, and I'm not talking myself down. I'm not. I'm being very realistic. I want to be a really strong middle, and open and close for non-pro gigs, if you know what I mean. You know, that kind of thing. Um, I've turned. I've been on. I've registered at the Beat the Frog twice, and I've backed out twice. Same with hot water. It's just the logistics to get in there. It's just, you know, the craziness of going all the way up there to do that. But I am doing a showcase in
yeah,
Rochdale. I'm doing a Northwest showcase. I've also applied to one at the Lowry Centre in Manchester. So that's what I'd like to do and see what comes off the back of that, if
I
anything.
think,
I mean, I am
yeah,
still gigging. I'm still gigging for local promoters. I'm just not as gung ho
I'm
as I
not as
was.
prolific as I was last year.
Prolific,
Yeah,
that's the
but
word. Yeah.
I'm trying to be, and like you say, it's like with these like sort of local gigs, it often is a bucket split, and you know, at some point, I've got to step off that and say, look, if I'm going to come and do it, you need to pay me to do it because I should value myself at that level, really, and you know,
And yeah, and that's it. Know your value. It is that. Know your worth. Um,
And
you know,
again,
but you don't. But then you don't want to come over
twat,
as
yeah, yeah,
pompous.
what,
But
what,
yeah,
what,
you're right.
what I was going to say is, again, looking from the outside, inside to the comedy circuit, not a lot of people know that you don't get paid. They think that you get paid for every gig,
Mm,
And it's been an eye opener for me over the last few months that you traipse around all over the country and you get diddly squat.
yeah. I mean, even
mm,
like if you're in a band, you'll go and do open mic nights and stuff. It's I'm acting, and most of the stuff I'm doing, I'm not getting paid very much for, if I get paid anything at
mm,
all. I certainly the travel and stuff I've spent on courses and things like that with it, I've not made any money whatsoever. It's like literally I'm in a loss.
mm.
With comedy, you get a little bit of petrol money here and there, and then the odd one you get something. But yeah, most comedians don't make money out of comedy. It's like
Mm.
most comedians. And then you've got your pros, and even some of the pros have to take on little jobs and stuff to get through. So yeah, it's hard, and there's
Mm.
so many acts out there. This is why it grates my bollocks a little bit when people go, "Oh, you shouldn't be putting that gig on with open spots and this, that, and the other." Well, okay, I'm going to say this now. So, I've noticed,
Mhm.
like when I first started 15 years ago, and for the 3 years that I really hit it in there, so up to about 2013, 2014, there was loads of pro gigs where it was an opener, a closer, and 2 open spots in the middle. One thing I've noticed now, Mike does this, and there's a few other promoters that do it. Rock Central do it, and there's loads that still do operate on that. But what I've noticed, even on midweek gigs and stuff now, some promoters are going, you can't, we're not having open spots, we're just going to have paid 20s. So it's like a triple headline kind of gig in the
Yeah.
midweek,
Mhm.
and at the weekend. Whereas before you could get on open spots, you could get on they'd have 2 10s in the middle rather than a 20 or a 15 in the middle. So you'd have 2 up and coming strong tens who were breaking into paid
Mm.
work, and that had helped them get up the ladder a little bit. And what I've noticed since coming back November 24 is there's less of that. There's not as many
Yeah.
promoters that do that, and I think
Mm.
it's because the fees for pros haven't gone up in 15 years, really. It's not gone up massively from what I've seen on the pro forums. So pros are willing to go in and do these midweek gigs at that amount, but it stops. it stops the lower end breaking into paid work, going and showcasing themselves for a lot. It's not everyone, but there's a few.
No, but you're right. I mean, Central does that because he'll put Rising Stars on.
But he's got like
It's
his
not.
set gigs for that, anti, which is great.
Yeah. And it, and it is, and it's like we've done Spiky Mike and we've done Rock Central and what have you, and they were big gigs for me. They were pub gigs. They were felt like proper comedy club gigs, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, you've got to get your experience. I mean, you start off in Derby at open mics, the Lamb Comedy Club. That fills up instantly. Fills up. I promote. I host a comedy night. I think there's 7 or 8 of us, and I have my turn. So every 7 or 8 weeks I do it. It fills up instantly. And the message you make outside of the opening, saying, "Can I come on with you, Deb? Can I come on?" Because it's the only place that they can get up and have 5 minutes to do the thing. And often there's no crowd. It's just the comedians. But it's still that opportunity to do it with a spotlight on you and a microphone.
So this is the thing. It's like you've got a lot of those acts who probably, like, without being condescending, there's a lot of acts out there that aren't ready to go on pro bills and stuff. But like I mean, I applied for a few middles on pro nights and stuff like that. And the one thing that does stick out, this is an employment thing. This is an absolute employment thing. It relates. So it's like somebody turned around to me and said, in order to get on my bills, you need to be doing regular professional nights. And when I look on your Facebook, the nights that you're on are kind of nights where it's a lineup of open spots, full, inexperienced acts. You need to be getting on to your, you need to be like obviously putting the gigs that you're doing that are on pro nights. And it's kind of like, so the old adage, isn't it? You need the experience to get the job, but how can you get the experience without doing the job? And it literally in comedy, you will get there. You just have to keep battling away. And and at the end of the day, if I'm a promoter and Chris Richmond applies for £100 middle, and Scott Bennett applies for the same spot, he never would, obviously, at that level. But John Pearson or some Ricky Balshaw, proper, established pros, you're going to book them. So my point to this whole little bit of a rant that I've been on, I'm not having a go at these people for doing this, by the way. I think, there's got to be that hierarchical progression. But don't then turn round and say, Deb or Jake or somebody else, I know it massively affected a really good mate of mine who got berated on a forum because he'd put a night on a Friday night. And I think he actually stayed away from comedy for a while. I think he's coming back, so hopefully, I think you might know who I mean. And literally this post got loads and loads of comments from promoters and comedians berating him for putting a night on a Friday night. Well, hang on a minute, we work as well. We aren't, so weekends are probably a good day for people to go out and do it. So if somebody's putting a weekend gig on, and I've done the Cock and Hoop in Nottingham, I think that's on a Friday night, brilliant night. I've done your nights at the weekends, and they've been great. There's no absolute need to have a pro headliner on as long as you've got somebody who's safe hands and can work the room. And that as long as you're hand picking these people, that's fine. What I would say is don't do a gig on a Friday or Saturday night and advertise it as an open mic night, because that's what it is.
No. And I wouldn't.
You
and
wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I wasn't going at you then. Your gigs
No.
great.
And the thing is, them weekend gigs, I actually have budgets for, so I can pay. I can get a higher standard. I can get semi-pros.
You can say that, You can say that. Don't feel.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't want. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody who's just
You
coming
don't
up.
need
You
to.
know
Look,
that it's all right.
you give an opportunity to those people on the bill anyway. So if you've got somebody who does a strong 10, you can put them on there. You're not going to put them on to close it or MC it or even open it. You know, you get your lineups right and you put them in the right positions. You know, Purse.
But you know the black market this week,
Yeah,
21st. You know the monthly one. John Pearson's
yeah,
closing for me.
yeah. He's great.
And you know what? And that's all to do with calling in favours, and we get on all right and talking to people, and it's localish, and it's so
Yeah,
nice. It just needs to grow. It needs
and
to
it
grow.
will, and it will. Well,
I do think it's got potential. I really do.
I don't think we needed Charlie on this. Dev's just. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, love. It was lovely. It was lovely.
No, it's
I was going to say,
I learn quite a lot, honestly.
Charlie always closes these guest episodes out, so we'll let him do that in a minute. But this is not going to come out until the 21st. Is there anything you want to promote sort of after the 21st of this month that you'll be?
it's just Lamb Comedy Festival, isn't it? It's all happening the end of May into June. Me and you, middle of June.
No, I said 3 chicks and a dick.
Okay. 3 chicks and a dick. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Yeah. We're 3 chicks and a dick. Not 3 chicks with dicks. I just want to say that it's 3 chicks and a dick. Yeah, he's the dick, and I'm one of the chicks. And then I've got another little consolation one. Consolation? That's the wrong word. I can't say it.
Compilation.
Completely. No, I can't. It's one I can't say. It's a group of us. It's a group of us, and I'm doing another one called Class of 25 with a couple of lads. We all kind of started at the same time.
Is that Lloyd with Lloyd?
And I'm all,
Fuck me, he was brilliant the other night. Yeah,
he's good.
I've
He's
seen
good.
him a few times now, and he absolutely roofed the swinging club. He smashed it.
Yeah.
Oh, the innuendos. The innuendos.
He's on the black market as well. I've got a really good line.
He'll kick it in the dick, mate. He was great. They weren't a bad one. Anyway, sorry. So you've got compilations. 30th of May is the 3 chicks and a dick.
Yeah. What else? What else am I doing? Well, I'm going to do the Halifax Comedy Festival. It's the only one I'm going to do because I cancelled last year. I think it was just after I'd done that Spirit of Comedy thing, and it just knocked me. And I thought, and he messaged me and said, "You've got first refusal, Deb." And I thought, "Come on, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." Maxine Wade won it last year, so I know that the crowd will be open to Northern females. It doesn't mean I'm going to win it, but I know that they're going to be open to it.
Yeah. When is?
I mean, I'm not as blue.
Because we've got Van Fest this month, haven't we? That's the day after this?
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Sorry. Yeah, Bearded Theory. I'm on the stage at Bearded Theory.
Yeah.
I'm third. I'm third on the list. I mean, the fact that it's alphabeticalised is, but that's irrelevant. I'm third on the list, and we've got Van Fest, which looks like it's going to be mega.
You are on with some fucking brilliant acts there as well. It's an absolute stacked lineup. Mike runs that, doesn't he? That's brilliant. Anyway, we are going to have to wrap up. So
yes.
Charlie,
it's been a pleasure. It's been lovely.
Charlie.
Dan, so you said you've watched the pod.
I have.
Right, okay. So you'll obviously know this. You know, like you were going on before about I don't want to do comedy because I think this is the real art form in comedy. It's jingles. So we're going to play a little game after. I'm just going to play me jingle, and then we're going to play a little game. Do you know about this? Do you?
No, I don't. I missed this bit.
All right. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Funny Farm. The lads are back causing harm, talking shite but full of charm. It's the Funny Farm Showdown. Welcome to this week's Funny Farm Showdown.
Charlie,
give us a shout.
That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And today's category is animals which are most likely to be a nurse.
Animals what are most likely to be a
So you have to
nurse.
come up with an animal and explain
Yeah,
why they'd
an
make a
animal
good
which is most
nurse.
likely to be a nurse. You could,
Animals.
yeah.
I wish you'd preempt it.
You should have been doing some back with, some homework about the pod. That's what
Oh, sure,
I'm.
come on. Yeah, I'm sure you've never asked anybody else animals that could be a nurse.
We've
No,
had
I
all
think it was
sorts.
animals
A
most likely
pig,
to be a pervert. I don't know
a
what was it
pig,
last week.
Right.
a pig could be a nurse because it's the most like a human. So if you cut it open, it looks like a human being. And so I presume that it has care and consideration in its brain. It could because the nose is really strong, and they dig out truffles, don't they? So maybe they could like help with doing vasectomies and things like that, just dig it all out kind of thing. Maybe tonsillectomy. It could get its snout down there and just dig the tonsils out, put a bit of truffle oil on the back of the throat and it could just take them out. Oh, but that's a surgeon, not a nurse, isn't it?
Should I even have a
Um,
go at this? Because it's like, I think Deb's won.
this is ridiculous.
He's come on every week doing this. I've got to say, I'm going to look at
Go on, you have a go. Go on.
sausages in a different way now. Though the pigs are more like human beings than any other animal.
I'm going dog. 100% dog.
He either goes for a dog or a monkey.
No, I'm going for dog because
Monkey.
they already show that kind of affection to their own and to human beings, don't they? They look after their owners. They lick other dogs' wounds and things like that.
They are themselves.
Yeah,
They're just
there
a
you go.
really caring animal. And my dog, if I'm like ill or upset or anything like that, he's right there. He's right here with me.
Oh, there you go. That's the sensible answer. That's the sensible answer. But you know something? If they pay the NHS staff peanuts, they will
Monkeys.
get monkeys.
Who's
There
won,
you
Chaz?
go.
I'm going to have to give it to Debs. I've got to say,
Yay!
I didn't know pigs were sort of like more human inside. You're always saying dogs. You got your hand up Slinky's arse as much as Roger de Courcy had to fucking spit the dogs.
It's a comedy dog. He comes to see the shows.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a puppet.
Fucking puppet, is it?
You've always got your hand up. Remember when we had to close the pod that day because you had shit on your hands?
Oh,
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah,
true story.
Right, anyway, thank you ever so much for coming on, Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
Very much appreciated.
Brilliant.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been great fun. Nice meeting you,
Really
Charlie.
good pod.
And you.
Please.
Thanks for showing us your nick and draw.
Please drop us a line if you want to comment about anything, any topics you want us to comment on or talk about. It's hello@funnyfarmpod.co.uk. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all of that shit. Follow me, Chris Richmond, on Facebook and at Chris Rich Comedian on Instagram and TikTok. Debs, have you got socials you want to promote? No?
No.
Yeah, just follow us on everything. Like, subscribe, comment, all that bollocks. It's goodbye from him.
Yay!
And it's goodbye.
Cheers, guys.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.